Meeting will come to order. Thank you all for being here this evening, and Happy New Year to everyone. We have quite a crowd. I'm so happy to see. If only all our meetings would be like this, except through public comment. We could do it. Anyway, just saying. Anyway, the first order of business is to call the roll. So with that, Ms. Allen? Here. Ms. Hamlet? Here. Mr. Miniger?
Here.
Mr. Vartan?
Present.
Thank you. This evening, we were honored to have the Hilltopper Quartet perform for us upstairs. I hope you enjoyed that. I believe they're here with us tonight, and we'd like to ask them to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you would come forward to towards the lectern and just lead us in that. And everyone, please stand. Over here, you can face this way. All right, when you're ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. If the quartet would just please stay here, we'd like to express our appreciation for your performance this evening. So with that, we have certificates and a little bit of a gift card for each of you. So Julia Maheka, did I say that one? Mahecha. Thank you. Thank you. Julia Spear. Thank you, Julia. Iju Kang. Thank you. And Andrew Ch. Thank you so much. And last but certainly not least, our conductor, Navina Boyvik. Thank you so much. Okay, you're welcome to stay, but if anyone has homework, we certainly understand. We're not going to hold you to that. Thank you.
Can I go with them?
Yes. Okay, the next order will be to have our distinguished Reverend Dedison Harrell Jr. from Wallace Chapel, AME Zion Church, come up and deliver our invocation.
Please bow your heads with me as we pray. Almighty God, we invoke your presence and power in this place tonight. You have called all of us to be your people, and you have purposed all our lives. We thank you, God, for the precious gift of life and your myriad blessings. We thank you for the faithful service of retiring Mayor Nora Radest and retiring council persons Marjorie Fox, Susan Hairston, Jamie Levine, and Phyllis Sank. We pray for them and the recently elected Mayor Elizabeth Fagan and council members Jamel Boyer, Bob Pulaski, and Kevin Smallwood. Dear God, we pray that you empower and enable the mayor, all council members, and city governmental officials and volunteers to work together for the common good of everyone. As a diverse community, help us, dear God, to realize that we are all of one blood and to accept and welcome diversity as a strength and a blessing. Fill Mayor Fagan, city council persons, and the residents of this city with a spirit of kindness, civility, compassion, justice, and love that will enable us to walk hand in hand with each other and be a beloved community. We acknowledge you, sovereign God, as the God of eternal possibilities, and in your hand is the life of every living thing and the breath of every human being. We thank you, God, for your amazing grace, your faithfulness, your tender mercy, and your unconditional love. Creator God, we thank you for the various gifts that you have given to this governing body and to each of us. Guide, teach, and help us to use our gifts in ways that glorify you as we serve and work to be a blessing and help to others. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. Okay, I think what we've all been waiting for. It's time for our swearings-in. The first will be our new mayor, Elizabeth Fagan. Elizabeth Fagan, will you please stand up with your husband and anyone else you wish, Kevin, and your family, if you wish. And you'll be sworn in by Assemblywoman Nancy Munoz.
Put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I need the oath. Very good. Guys, gather around. Come closer so we get to the mic. There we go. It's all good. Okay. I state your name.
I, Elizabeth Fagan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
and
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully
impartially,
and impartially
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all of the duties
of mayor
of mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The Bible.
Mayor Fagan, I'd just like to present you with your certificate of election. You're formerly the mayor now for the next 4 years. Congratulations. I'll just introduce you.
Okay.
Next will be our council members. First on board will be Kevin Smallwood. Would you please come forward, Kevin, and anyone else you wish to join you? And you'll be sworn in by our Assemblywoman, Nancy Munoz.
Congratulations. Please hold this. You dad. Put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Kevin Smallwood,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
under
under the authority of the people.
the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of councilman at large
of councilman at large
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Here. I'll get out the way. Kevin, here the sign.
They had a bet that I wouldn't cry.
Yeah. They won the bet. Then they bet that you would cry.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Kevin, before you take your seat, I want to congratulate you. Here's your election certificate, and you can take your seat at the dais. Sit down here. Next on board, Will Bob Pulowski and his wife Tremaine Stanley, and anyone else who wishes, please come up to be sworn in as council member in the first ward. You'll be sworn in by Assemblywoman Michelle Matsukuda. Please come forward. When you've done this, sign.
I state your name,
I, Bob Pulowski,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same, and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of council member of Ward 1
of council member, Ward 1,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
And Bob, presenting you with your election certificate. Congratulations. Please take your place at the dais. Okay, and last but not least, we'll be swearing in Jamel Boyer in the second ward. Jamel, would you please come up with your wife Shantae and Mickens, and anyone else you wish to join you. And you'll be sworn in by our Senator, John Brandon. Please come forward.
I brought a small army with me.
If you raise your right hand and please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jamel Boyer,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to same,
and allegiance to same,
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Councilmember Ward 2
of Council Member Ward 2
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Councilmember Boyer, congratulations. Your election certificate. Please take your seat at the dais. On that side. Okay, thank you all. That was exciting. Our next order of business is to now elect our council president for 2024. Nominations are now in order. Councilmember Hamlet?
Yes, I would like to nominate my friend and colleague, Lisa Allen.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those, any other nominations before we go forward? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the floor is yours, Council President.
Thank you. Just need to turn on my computer here. Okay. The next order of business shall be to elect the Council President Pro Temp for 2024, who will act as President of the Common Council in my absence and as Mayor in her absence. I would like to nominate my friend and colleague, Delia Hamlet. Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any other nominations? Okay. Hearing none.
All those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All opposed?
Any opposed?
Any opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Delia Hamlet.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Did I put it upside down? Sorry.
That's bad.
Just checking if you're paying attention. Okay.
Okay. I'd like to congratulate Councilwoman President Pro Temp Hamlet. I'd also like to recognize Deputy Clerk, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. Take a breath.
I'd also like to recognize Clerk Licatis for all that you've done. You are our rock. So I would really like a round of applause for Clerk Licatis. You do a ton for us, so thank you. And I'd also like to recognize Deputy Clerk Kotiga for everything you've done. You have made sure to round the cats and make sure everything was packaged nicely, so thank you. I would also like to thank Reverend Harrield. As always, your words of faith always bring comfort, so thank you, Reverend Harrield. Thank you again to the Summit High School String Quartet. I would also like to recognize the dignitaries in the room. I would like to first recognize Congressman Tom Kane. Please raise your hand. Thank you for coming tonight. Senator Bramnick. Assemblywoman Munoz. Assemblywoman Michelle Matsakudis. Superintendent of Schools Scott Huff. Mayor Nora Radest. Council President Marjorie Fox. previous Mayor Jordan Glatt. Previous council member Al Dill. Raise your hand. Former city clerk David Hughes. We have Republican Chair Nick Curial. Democratic Chair Lacey Cotter. I would like anyone that I might have missed to please raise your hand so I don't miss you.
Any county commissioners?
Oh, Councilman Danny O'Sullivan. He's behind the door. Okay. I didn't miss anyone else? Phyllis? Oh, well, I was going to say you haven't gone out yet. Okay. Previous Democrat Chair Phyllis Sank and current council member Phyllis Sank. Well, outgoing. Thank you. Okay. I didn't miss anyone else? Okay. Great. Next, I would like to recognize our outgoing council president, Greg Vartan, who served in 2023 with the ceremonial gavel. Greg grew up, as many of you know, in Summit and has been involved with government and volunteering in his community since high school. His passion shines through as one of the youngest serving members elected in the history of Summit and is an inspiration for young leaders looking to make an impact. You can rely on his humor to bring levity to a meeting, which I'm kind of hoping for. He often reminds us that, he often reminds us that while this job is serious, we shouldn't take ourselves too serious. You might notice Greg is always prepared, always has his 3 bullet points, and he can be relied on for knowing even the smallest of details regarding the work that we do on council. Thank you for your service, and I'm looking forward to working with you for another year. And I would like to present you with this ceremonial gavel. Okay. And here we go. So good evening. My name is Lisa Allen, and I am deeply honored to address you tonight as your council president for 2024. I want to recognize my husband and kids. I don't know if they're in here, actually. I was looking for them. Can they raise their hand? Oh my gosh. If I seemed a little distracted, that's why. Because I was like, my husband and children are not here. Thank you for your love and support. You are my rock and my source of inspiration and encouragement. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for everything you do. I would like to thank all of you here in the room and watching TV tonight to being a part of this very important event. Whether you have ever been here before or you're experiencing this for a second time, this is one of the most important meetings that we could possibly attend in the city. Tonight's meeting is called the organization meeting because it's where we swear in newly elected officials and we reorganize our council for the upcoming year. In a larger sense, this meeting is the hallmark of every new year, which represents new beginnings filled with excitement, optimism, and hope. We're continuing to build on the good works of prior Summit councils while embracing new ideas that inspire positive change. This meeting is also the opportunity to recognize our volunteers that live here who generously give their time and talent and help keep Summit a wonderful place to live. It is an evening where everyone actually agrees on one thing, that Summit is the best place to live. Over the past 3 years, I've gotten to know many Summit residents from all walks of life, and it's my privilege to serve you in this new capacity. The outpouring of resident involvement in 2023 has been inspiring, and it has also reminded me that engaged citizens really do make a meaningful difference. So thank yourselves. Clap for yourselves. The difference between good communities and great ones in which I would argue Summit is a great community, are those who can overcome ideological differences in order to accomplish significant and often hard work. Government can be difficult, but when we're willing to compromise, we build consensus. And when we build consensus, we build trust. Trust is the connective tissue that binds all of our relationships together and makes us the community that we are. Sitting in this chair today, I'm aware of the enormous responsibility it requires. I pledge to you not to be perfect, but I promise I will listen, I will be honest, and I will do the best to my ability to serve you. As we move forward together, there's important work to be done in pursuing our goals, but our priorities are straightforward: public safety, community engagement, and fiscal responsibility. First and foremost, safety is a matter that transcends politics and personal agendas. It's our duty and responsibility to keep our community safe. If we do not feel secure in our homes or in our neighborhoods, nothing else matters. We will work tirelessly with our Summit Police Department to ensure that they have the resources they need to help keep us safe. To me, safety is nonpartisan and it is non-negotiable. Full stop. Without a doubt, I believe that community engagement is the foundation of good governance. Council's role is to listen and take action on initiatives and do business that benefits our city. And we're going to be busy this year. We'll be assessing park renovations, playgrounds, fixing infrastructure, studying sustainable environmental solutions, identifying affordable housing opportunities, while staying hyper-focused on what resources we need to keep our residents safe. There will be many competing interests, and we all need to ensure that we do what it takes to get things right efficiently, effectively, and responsibly. We acknowledge our taxpayers work hard for their money, and we want to make sure that we deliver for you. Our aim is to govern based on the core principles of municipal government. As we embark on this journey together, whatever comes our way, I know that we're going to face this together as a team and as a community with common purpose. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Let us all dream together of a summit where safety is assured, where citizens are actively engaged, and responsible stewardship of resources leads to a prosperous and harmonious community. Thank you. Next on the agenda, just give me 1 second, thank you, is our farewell. Our farewell address for Mayor. I'd like to call upon retired Mayor Nora Radest to deliver her farewell speech.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to the 2024 organization meeting of the Summit Common Council. First, my heartfelt congratulations to Mayor Elizabeth Fagan, Council members Jamel Boyer, Bob Pulowski, and Kevin Smallwood upon their elections to mayor and council. I want especially to welcome Mayor Fagan's family and the families of the existing and newly elected members. They will be dedicating, your mother, your father, they will be dedicating a great deal of time to our city. So make no mistake, your support is crucial to their success. I reiterate the welcome to the dignitaries that are here, and I'm delighted that you took the time to join us tonight. I have a small bit of advice to all of you on the dais, very short. In an era when world leaders struggle to speak a common language of comedy, collaboration, and cooperation, it feels to me as if the best and most useful way to encourage understanding is on a local level, where we have daily opportunities to advance our community and allow our better angels to shine. For the past 7 years, I have delivered the State of the City address from this podium, but I'm not going to do so tonight. I've written it, and it will be posted on the city's website, and I encourage you all to read it. I know that many of you are here to say goodbye to me, but most of you are here to welcome these guys, and you want to hear from them, so I will not be long. I am proud of the many accomplishments made during the year, and I am very grateful to our hardworking and dedicated staff and council members. I do, however, have a few thoughts and reflections of the last 8 years. I must start by thanking the amazing city staff. Every single person comes to work with the attitude that doing a competent job is not enough, but rather they believe it is imperative to do their best. It has been my honor and privilege and pleasure to work with you. The council members with whom I have worked over the years are dedicated to making our city the best it can be. Once in a while, we've disagreed as to what is best for the city, but I have never doubted their intentions. Every council member has been a dedicated volunteer, and I am grateful to all of them for their collegiality. Last but not least, my family. Rob Radest, where are you? Thank you for your unwavering support every day for over 8 years. You never complained when I was out many nights in a row and left you hot dogs and a can of beans on the countertop. You were always ready to attend an event if needed, and you always gave me your frank assessment of issues that I was facing. Jess and Lauren and Emma, thank you for listening to me talk about the thoughts and concerns of the city. Thank you for going on with your lives, starting new jobs and new homes. In other words, building your futures while still supporting me with laughter and guidance. And of course, my wonderful grandchildren. Grace and John, you make me laugh so often, and I have loved it when you visited my office and when you've gone to ribbon cuttings with me. I know you had fun with me, but I think you really loved visiting Amy and eating her pretzels. Thank you, and I love you both. I have not forgotten your baby sister. She's only 2 months old, and yet she has already brought great joy to our family. And to think that when I was starting this job 8 years ago, you 3 were not born. Oh my gosh. Many people have thanked me for serving as mayor, saying that the job must be exhausting, thankless, and maddening. I'm here to tell you that being your mayor has been a great honor and a pleasure, one I will never forget my entire life. Of course, there have been some frustrating and disappointing moments, but the vast majority of our residents and business people are kind, honest, and cooperative with each other and the city. As is true everywhere, there's a small group in town that seem to be determined to be unhappy no matter what, but that's just the way life is. I believe we have to make decisions guided by what will do the greatest good for the greatest number. That said, as mayor, I strive to listen to every person who reached out to me with issues and concerns. When possible, with staff help, we were able to fix the problem, and when not possible, I tried to explain why. One thing I did not anticipate when elected was that I never knew what was going to happen on any given day. When I walked into this building on May 30th, 2017, I immediately knew something was terribly wrong. Indeed, our beloved Detective Matt Tarantino was killed in a car crash that morning. We were shocked and shaken to the core. City Hall staff is like a family, and Matt was surely a star of that family. It was my job to be a source of strength and support. That was not what I had expected when I woke up, but I now know that the job is rarely predictable. From the beginning of my first term, a primary goal has been to be available and attentive to everyone who lives or works in Summit. I tried to take advantage of every opportunity to engage with our citizens. I will never forget the day that we learned that Governor Christie was stopping all municipal construction, including the Morris Avenue Bridge. For those of you who haven't lived in town for a while, that was a big deal. But until the legislature passed a gas tax. Understandably, residents were up in arms, and our communications chief jumped into action to hold a press conference to protest the shutdown. After several months, construction resumed. Residents were still angered by the delay, and it was quite difficult for passersby to see any progress. I remember setting my alarm for 2 a.m. so I could go to the bridge and video a Facebook Live of the crews connecting the main sewer line. I thought that would bring encouragement to the community. And of course, COVID presented unique challenges to effective communication. With the help and guidance of our communications team, I was able to utilize Facebook Live, videos, Zoom meetings, and even recording children's stories at Hometown TV, which the kids could watch at home during the lockdown. We got through the pandemic because of the hard work and diligence of City Hall department heads and staff, the calmness of council members, and the resilience of our residents, business owners, and community organizations. We are truly a blessed community, and we witnessed what we can do when we listen to the needs of each other and work together to address those needs. I am grateful for everyone in this community and for all of your support. Thank you for your support for the last 8 years, and I'll see you around town. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. Thank you for your service. You've been giving to this community for over 30 years, and your legacy is long. So we appreciate everything you've done. It's beyond being a mayor, so thank you. I can't believe those 3 kids weren't born when you started.
My children.
No, I know. Okay, I would like to now call upon Mayor Elizabeth Fagan for her inaugural speech. Oh, okay. You know what, Nora? Elizabeth would like to give you something. Sorry, I should have kept you up here. I'll work out the kinks.
Thank you.
Take your heels off.
Of course. Thank you.
Wow, I have a couple of tough acts to follow, some really, really excellent speakers, so hopefully I'll do this role justice. Good evening. The spectacular town of Summit has been built on the work of thousands of volunteers. We must always acknowledge and thank them. The outgoing members of council have given their time and energy, and we thank you for leading the city. Mayor Nora Radest has been the consummate volunteer. Thank you for your service to our community for decades, but especially the last 8 years as our mayor. Retiring committee and board members and councilwomen Marjorie Fox, Jamie Levine, Susan Hairston, and Phyllis Sank, thank you for your dedication to the city of Summit. We are all grateful for your service. As I stand before you this evening as the new mayor of our much-loved city of Summit, I am filled with a profound sense of responsibility and optimism. In my 23 years as a resident of Summit, local physician, and community volunteer, my focus has always been on serving people. And now, as your mayor, I am committed to extending that service to every aspect of our community life. Our city is an incredible place to live and work and raise a family. You may have heard the Together for Summit team say we believe we can make it even better. The Hilltop City can be the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Our priority is to ensure that every citizen feels connected to the services they need and has a voice in our government. This is not just an administrative responsibility. It is a steadfast commitment to each one of you. As we reflect on the November election, Summit's citizens soundly embraced our platform of improving public safety, providing transparency in government, and promoting responsible development. This council will deliver on those commitments by working with our administration and first responders to help our citizens feel safer, listening to all of our citizens' viewpoints, being transparent in our deliberations, and protecting the character of our wonderful town. We will always discuss our objectives openly and with civility. Health, both physical and mental, will be at the forefront of our agenda. A healthy community is a strong one. We plan to work closely with local nonprofits, community groups, and schools to create and implement programs that support our physical and mental well-being, starting with participation in the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, a statewide program focused on community wellness. Safe neighborhoods are the bedrock of a thriving town. We will collaborate with law enforcement, first responders, and community leaders to ensure that safety is a reality in every corner of Summit. An essential aspect of my tenure will be partnering with and supporting our dedicated staff, the individuals whose contributions are integral to our community's success. That is a shout out too to Rosie and Nicole for tonight. They did a beautiful job preparing the reception, so thank you, ladies. Local businesses are the backbone of Summit's economy and community identity. We intend to foster an environment where new and existing businesses can flourish and contribute to the prosperity and vibrancy of our downtown and surrounding business districts and the well-being of our citizens. Since our public schools are our crown jewel, we look to elevate all of our schools to the status attained by Lincoln Hubbard this year, the #1 elementary school in the state. Congratulations, Scott. Our commitment is to be available, responsive, and actively engaged with all of you. We look forward to next year when we can look back on 2024 and report on all that we have accomplished together. As we embark on this journey, we urge each of you to join us in fostering a community where kindness and collaboration are not just ideals, but our way of life. If we examine Summit's history, we see multiple examples of the community speaking up for what they believe. The Broad Street parking garage, moving the train tracks underground, the location of City Hall, the turf on Investors Bank Field, working with the county to create Glenside Field, and most recently, the Broad Street West project. We will continue conversations within and throughout the community so that we protect, preserve, and enhance the heritage of Summit with all of you over the coming years. Most importantly, we believe in the power of listening and coming together as a city. We do not always need to think the same way, but we do need to listen to each other. In our differences, we find strength and new perspectives. It is through understanding and respecting our differences that we can truly be successful. Together, we can build a Summit that not only meets our community's needs for today, but becomes an even greater place to call home for generations to come. Thank you for your support and your trust.
Kevin, would you like a tissue? I think we have some on the dais. If you
At first, I thought you were talking about me.
I did too.
I did too.
It is an emotional night, and it's really wonderful that we're all sharing it together. Thank you, Mayor Fagan. I would now ask retiring council member Greg Vartan as 2023 council president to please recognize retiring Mayor Nora Radest for her service, as well as ask retiring council members Marjorie Fox, Jamie Levine, and Phyllis Sink to please come forward. Although I don't think, is Jamie not in the room tonight?
Yeah, Jamie's not here tonight.
Okay. So, yes, Phyllis, Marjorie, and Nora, please come up. Where would you like them, Greg?
I don't know. Over here.
Over here?
In your new chairs.
Good evening. If anybody needs a bathroom break, I'll only be like 90 minutes. That's fine. At least it'd be funny. So, first, I will add my congratulations to my new colleagues, Mayor Fagan and Councilmembers Smallwood, Pulowski, and Boyer. I will add my words of congratulations and thanks to the members of your family, who by sharing you with the community are also engaging in acts of service and sacrifice. Next, many thanks for the kind words and the gavel, Madam President. In a city of 22,000 people, few have the opportunity to represent our community on council, but even fewer become council president. As you are no doubt already learning, it is both an awesome responsibility and a tremendous honor. So on behalf of the mayor and council, I now have the pleasure to recognize 5 women whose contributions to Summit have made an indelible impression upon this already wonderful city and have, beyond a shadow of a doubt, vastly improved it. Marjorie Fox was council president for 3 years and served on council for 6. While she was a member of council, Marjorie was an advocate for education and helped lead the city's response to the pandemic. Marjorie also helped drive many initiatives to protect our environment, including the planting of more than 1,100 trees, supported the expansion of our recycling and composting efforts, and culminated in the adoption of the Community Energy Plan that will continue to ensure Summit does its part for years to come. Congratulations, Marjorie. Susan Hairston made history as the first woman of color to serve as a member of council, as president pro tem, and as acting council president in my absence. While Susan was chair of the Health and Safety Committee, our police department successfully achieved prestigious accreditation from the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police. She promoted diversity, equity, and inclusion so that city staff more closely represents the demographics of the community. And in our day and age, when the loudest voices demand the most attention, Susan was a consistent advocate for those voices who are softer and those who cannot speak for themselves. To those who put their faith in Susan, she never disappointed. And she's not here this evening. Jamie Levine, in her time as chair of the Capital Projects Committee, oversaw the most work on infrastructure and improvements to pedestrian and traffic safety in the history of our community. It was not that long ago the council simply wouldn't add new stop signs, wouldn't consider flashing beacons, and was not interested in sidewalks. These essential improvements that make our streets safer will continue to benefit this community for years to come. Jamie joined council at what some might call the peak of the controversy surrounding Broad Street West. As a member of the community who shared the frustration, skepticism, and conviction about the need to alter course, Jamie was steadfast in pursuing the information required, questioning appropriately, and making her position clear. Her leadership and advocacy on behalf of the community was crucial in helping all of us to reach the decisions we made to vote unanimously to end the relationship with the developers, repeal the redevelopment plan, and remove the designation as an area in need of redevelopment. She's also not able to be with us this evening. Phyllis Sank's time on council was short, but for the last 3 months of this year, we needed someone to join us who was calm, whip smart, and resolute. Phyllis understood the assignment, and she aced it. Her moral conviction and strong leadership was the driving force behind the recent adoption of the International Holocaust Remembrance Association's definition of anti-Semitism. Taking this step was critical because anti-Semitism was growing at an alarming rate even before the events of October 7th and the war in Gaza. Summit can now begin to address this problem by having a definition for it. Congratulations, Phyllis. Nora Radest was the leader of our community when it faced its most serious threat. In spite of that, against the odds, and in contrast to many other communities, Summit is even better now. More people are alive, and more businesses are open because of her leadership during the pandemic. People are safer because of her leadership of the police department. Our schools are higher quality and more equitable because of her campaigning and fierce advocacy for full-day kindergarten. At the risk of becoming emotional, I'll close by saying this. In almost every measurable way, this community has improved as a direct result of her leadership. We are beyond lucky to have benefited from her service as our mayor. I didn't say it, but they're getting the chairs. They're getting the chairs up here. Yes.
So only 3 months on council, Phyllis is telling us what to do.
And she's right. And she's right. Of course. Yeah.
I feel I should only get a stool.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Councilman. That was beautiful. You're done. Oh, yeah, come on up. Come join us. And I just want to give a shout out to Marjorie, who was working up until the 11th hour today on issues. So please, another round of applause of the dedication. Okay, on to volunteer recognition. Nora, I hope you're at the end of the, oh no, you're gonna have to come back out. You should have sat on the end. Yeah, I would like Nora to come up to recognize our 2023 Volunteer of the Year, as well as the retiring volunteers who were appointed by the mayor. And actually, you'll be joining. You're gonna give away the bowls.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Give
actually.
away what it is.
Oh.
It's a surprise. Forget you heard that. So we're going to recognize the retiring volunteers.
This is volunteer of the year.
Of the year, sorry.
So a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we started, because we all talk about how volunteers are so incredibly important in Summit, and we just thought it would make a very good idea to single out one person who had done a lot of volunteering throughout his or her time living in Summit. And our first Volunteer of the Year award went to Tom O'Rourke. His wife Laura is here, and I'm very happy to see you, Laura. So I'm happy to announce the Volunteer of the Year award for 2024. I'm delighted to announce that this volunteer is presented to Sandra Bloom. Okay. Sandy has provided decades of service to Summit, both through city boards and service organizations. Sandy served on the Board of Education from 2002 through 2005, serving as president in 2004-2005 school year. Sandy was on the zoning board from 2005 to 2010 and on the library board from 2014 through tonight. Sandy also served on the Wilson School Task Force from May of 2004 through 2005. But service to the city of Summit was not enough for Sandy. She has been deeply involved in her faith congregation, Temple Sinai. Sandy served as vice president from 1993 to 94, and then president from 94 to 96, which was a pivotal time for Temple Sinai. Sandy is currently the co-chair of the Cantor Search Committee and has assumed so many unheralded volunteer activities that it is difficult to identify all of them. She always steps up to do any job necessary. Her quiet yet assured manner instills confidence and admiration. She listens to diverse opinions and builds consensus. Lastly, Sandy served on the board of the Summit Area Public Foundation, now known as the Summit Foundation, from 2014 to 2022. Is anybody tired yet? I mean, I'm exhausted. As Grants Committee co-chair from 2014 to 2018, Sandy led several initiatives to improve the lives of many of our residents. She brought key stakeholders together to discuss basic needs in Summit, including housing, hunger, health, and poverty. Sandy and the Summit Foundation helped make Summit a nexus for assistance true to the mission of improving our neighbors' lives. During the COVID pandemic, Sandy was a driving force on the Foundation's Grants Committee to consider emergency grants to nonprofits. She encouraged the Grants Committee to act quickly, and they did, providing those grants in early March 2020. She was a vocal proponent of the Foundation leading the effort to start Sustain Summit to support our small businesses. Over $700,000 in grants were awarded to local business owners and employees. In my conversations with Sandy's colleagues, common themes have emerged. Sandy personifies the scales of justice. She always objectively weighs evidence on its own merit. She begins her decision-making with considering what is best for this community or the group. She is prudent, but has an intense curiosity. Sandy never backs down from a difficult decision or from delivering difficult news. She stands firm and fair, even when it would have been easier to avoid a conflict. Sandy Bloom is an amazing volunteer, not to mention a wonderful wife, mother, and grandmother. Summit is a better place because of all the time, energy, and intellectual rigor you have shared with your Summit community. On behalf of your Summit friends and neighbors, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'd briefly like to read the certificate. In recognition of your many contributions as a dedicated community leader and visionary, your outstanding ability to communicate with a wide variety of people in a respectful and compassionate manner has greatly benefited our community. You understand the importance of honest listening as well as speaking. In appreciation of your generosity and countless hours of community involvement and for being a shining example of volunteerism in our community. Presented to you this January 3rd, 2024 by Greg Vartam and me. Thank you.
Okay. All right, now we'll do the recognition of retiring volunteers appointed by the mayor.
If you're here, please come forward to accept your gift. Donna Miller, who's retiring from the Board of Education. Okay. Kelly Mahalian, for Education, Environmental Commission. No. Christopher Sprague, Environmental Commission. No. Sadie, come back and get your vote. And this is for your this is for Sandy's 2 terms on the Library Board of Trustees. Thank you. Bill Anderson, Planning Board. Bill has been on the Planning Board for a long time and has been a great steward, so thank you. Jay Brinkerhoff. There he is. Jay has also been on the planning board for 10 years. Yep. Donna Miller. Yes, you're here. Donna had the unenviable job of being head of the Board of Education during the pandemic. Ellen McNeil, who was on the planning board. I don't know if Ellen's here. Is she here? No, okay. Tom Arcella from PAL. Jamel Boyer, I know you're here. Tyrell Dagner from PAL. Joe Beauchamp, PAL. Thank you. Serge Mazua. Ryan Schaefer, PAL. Okay. Cheryl Barr from Summit Public Art. Brian Carpenter, Summit Public Art, co-chair. Thanks, Brian. Ellen de Havilland, co-chair, Summit Public Art. Thank you, Vicki Lederman, Summit Public Art. Lainey Seeger, Summit Public Art. Sarah Walco, Summit Public Art. She's the Visual Arts Center liaison. Okay. Laura LeMayo, Community Programs Advisory Board. John Staunton, Board of Health. Thank you. Susan Bowen, the Broad Street West Redevelopment Advisory Committee. Thank you, Susan. Jan Cho, Broad Street West Redevelopment Advisory Committee. Matt Kaplan, Broad Street West Redevelopment Advisory Committee. Kevin McGoey, Broad Street West Redevelopment. Michael Curran, Summit Economic Development Advisory Committee, Board. Paul Formicelli. Oh, no, you're here.
Yeah, you're here. And Paul's here.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Julie Keenan, Summit Economic Development Advisory Board. Timothy McAloon, Summit Development Advisory Board. Joyce Yao. Dennis White, Housing Authority. Lisa Campbell, I know I saw Lisa. Lisa served on the Summit Parking Advisory Committee. Thank you, Lisa. Irene Esposito, Recycling Advisory Committee. Walter Gonzalez, Zoning Board. Dave Mullen, Zoning Board. And Broad Street West. Liz Newell, Zoning Board. Thank you, Liz. Diana Sager, Zoning Board. Stephen Spur, Zoning Board. Well, we appreciate it. We'll make sure we get these to everyone who's not able to be here. And I've sometimes thought in the past that you want me to come out to another meeting just to thank me? So I fully understand that sometimes people don't want to come out, but for everyone who's here and for those who are not able to be here, we truly appreciate all the time and energy you put into the committees, boards, and commissions. So thank you very much. I have one thing that's not on script.
Go ahead.
It has been alluded to that one person, particularly in this building, makes everything run smoothly. And one of the phrases, questions, statements that I've heard the most in my 8 years here has been, well, ask Rosemary, she'll know. Or, I don't know, does somebody know? Where's Rosemary? She's not here? She's not here today? So I am beyond grateful to Rosemary Licatis because she is the oil that keeps this building running. And she has been through a lot lately. And this is something just for me. Some lady came into my office about a year ago and said, I have something that was given to me by the city when I retired because I was such a great volunteer. And she said, so I'm going to give it to you because I'm moving to an old person's community and I don't have space for all the stuff I have. But I cherished it. It was always on my desk. My grandchildren loved it. And I can't think of a better person to pass this on to than Rosemary.
Key to the city.
been my honor and pleasure to work with you, Nora, and with all the council members who are retiring. I love you all. You know I love you all.
All right. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Greg. And thank you to all the retiring volunteers. It's because of you the city is really runs the way it does. So on to the announcement of 2024 appointments. Because there are so many, in the interest of time, I'm only going to read, I'm actually,
Council Standing Committee.
oh, the Council Standing Committee. Oh, I don't have the,
I don't have.
oh, I got it. Hold on. I got it. It's underneath my desk.
You haven't memorized that yet?
Actually, I probably do, but I don't want to get it wrong. I'm just going to announce the Council Standing Committee. So this is the organization meeting. We end up with all our new committees. And so we are going to have Councilman Vartan chair the Administrative Policies and Community Relations, along with Councilman Boyer. We're going to have Councilwoman Hamlet chair Capital Projects and Community Services, along with Councilman Vartan. And we're going to have Councilman Smallwood chair the Community Programs and Parking Services. He will be on with Councilman Miniger. Councilman Miniger will continue to chair the Finance Committee along with Councilwoman Hamlet. Our resident lawyer, Councilman Bob Pulowski, is going to chair Law and Labor along with Councilman Smallwood. And Councilman Boyer will run Safety and Health along with Councilman Pulowski. So those will be our council committees for 2024. And so I think we will get a lot done this year. So congratulations, everyone. Our next will be the announcement of 2024 appointments. And in essence of time, I will only, we're just going to let you know that there have been some tweaks to the list because we made some changes, but you can just go to the website, you can take a look, they're all there. But if anybody is a volunteer that is still in the room, please raise your hand, whether you're retired or you're new. We just want to recognize you. Thank you for your service. Okay.
The final list will be up on the website.
And, okay, final list will be up on the website tomorrow morning. Mayor, would you like to say anything?
Yes, the mayoral appointments will also be on the website, and in the interest of time, so you all can get home and go to bed, we'll leave them on the website. And there are a couple of tweaks as well for those compared to the original packet.
Great.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, on to the consent agenda. We have several annual resolutions that we take all at once. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Actually, Madam President, can I pull out one, the first one,
Sure.
for us to vote on separately, perhaps? Because I'm going to dissent on that.
So you want, yes, you can absolutely do that. So we're just going to do a consent agenda from 2 through 10 under Law and Labor, 1 through 3 under Safety, and 1 through 13 under Finance. We'll vote on one separately.
Okay.
So do the vote on.
Do the consent agenda, and then you'll go back
To
to
do the balance, okay.
Councilmember Sutton.
So do I take a motion?
Yeah, motion
Okay.
on the consent agenda.
Motion on the
plus-
cons,
Through the end.
oh, 2 through the end. All right. I'd like to make a motion on the consent agenda through, for the items 2 through the end.
Yes.
How many do we have? Let me just make sure I have that number. 2 through 13.
No, it's 2
No, there's
through
several
10.
there.
Oh, okay.
There are several committees, so just 2 through the end of the list.
2 through the end of the list.
Yep.
Do I have a motion? Anyone?
Motion.
Need
Do
a
you?
motion to,
There's actually one, sorry, through you, Council President. There was one more I wanted to comment on as well. I
Well, do
believe
you
it's,
want to comment, or do you want to,
dissent.
okay. Well, you guys, I mean, you understand, you can vote no
Yeah,
on a consent agenda, say, I vote yes as to all except number 4. If
oh,
you
sure,
want.
okay,
You can do it that way if you want.
that works even
Opposed
better.
to pointing it out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about why I want to do
Right,
it, too.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So do I need a second
No, you have a
for
second. You need a
dissent?
motion first.
I need a motion.
You made the motion.
Yeah?
No, you're not going to pull anything out, correct? You're just going to vote separately on one of them. Is that correct, Councilman Miniger?
For the one that Councilmember Vartan has pulled out, yes, I'll vote separately on that one.
Okay.
The other one, I just want to make a comment on.
That's
on
fine, you can do that, that's fine. You need a motion and a second, so Council President made the motion. I think Councilman Pawlowski seconded it.
Second.
And
Yep.
so now you can.
So are we dialoguing only on the ones that he's pulling out currently?
No,
Or
right now,
we're talking
you're
about the
gonna vote on
consent agenda?
And Andy Miniger right now, before you vote on it, because now you have a motion and a second, he can comment on, make a comment on one of the consent agenda items you want to make a comment on. This is
Sure.
the time to do it.
Okay.
Thank you, through you, Council President.
Yep.
So when it comes to zoning and planning, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody who is being appointed tonight, volunteers, everybody who submitted an application. It's a really big deal. Thank you for coming through in a big way this year. There were so many applications, and for willing to put your time in to make the city better. When it comes to appointing people to zoning and planning boards, here is how it typically happens. There are full members and there are alternates. Alternates get some experience, the same experience actually, as full members, but they only vote when somebody's absent. When there's a vacancy, alternates, with all the experience and institutional knowledge, they move up into the full member spot. And council and mayor appoints a new alternate. Here's what we're about to see happen tonight. This council has given special preference to more inexperienced people and have decided to skip over the alternates who have training and have multiple years of experience on these boards. Tonight, you're going to see them skip over that highly relevant, hands-on experience. Why? That's what I would like to know. In the case of the zoning board, these full members will be sworn in, get this, tomorrow. They'll be sworn in tomorrow, and then asked to vote immediately on things that could absolutely change the nature of neighborhoods. The outgoing chair of the zoning board sent an email warning about this, in fact, and I quote, "The learning curve for new members can be particularly steep and time limited to allow veteran members, in addition to other resources like our zoning officer, board secretary, board attorney, and others, to build trust, share their own experiences, and ultimately equip the newly constituted board to begin its work." Veteran members that we are passing over. We're passing over veteran members, and I wanted to know what reason we're doing that. Was there a litmus test that made you decide to skip over genuine, professional, hands-on experience on both the zoning and planning boards? If there was some compelling reason, make us aware of that, please. I'm opposed to skipping over alternates, which is why I will be voting against that section of the consent agenda.
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment.
Yep.
So picking all of the committees this year was as challenging as it is every year. What I will say is we had more applicants, I think, Rosa, you might be able to say, than probably in the history of Summit, New Jersey. So the days are not happening anymore where we don't have volunteers. So we were flooded with volunteer packages this year. And I will tell you with full confidence that I have 100% confidence, Councilman Miniger, with the appointments that we selected. When we initially were looking at the planning and zoning boards, we have this wonderful lawyer here next to us, and he said, why do we have to move the alternates into the main positions if we don't want to? And we were told, well, that's the way it's always been done, or that's the way that we have to do. So what I did after that was I said, I don't know much about the alternate positions at all, but let me reach out to Steve Warner, who is our attorney on retainer right now, that would be appropriate to ask those questions to. He responded, "Delia, it was my pleasure to discuss the land use board application process with you earlier today. I would be happy to further discuss the intricacies of the process and how it works, both generally and specific factually discrete instances with you or anyone else you choose. In the interim, in response to your example below, if the term of 4 full regular members expired, the appointing authority, the mayor for the planning board and the common council for the zoning board of adjustment is not required to promote any, let alone all, of the 4 alternate members to those regular member offices, but may choose other residents to fill in any of those regular member offices. The following materials are instructive and attached hereto. Cox Book sections 3-2 to 3-4, NJSA 40-55 D23, D23-1, and 50D-69. Don't quote me on the exact ones, but I'll post it later. The relevant portions of the City Summit Code concerning the composition of the planning boards 35-2.1 to 2.5, and the relevant portions of the City of Summit Code concerning the composition of the Zoning Board of Adjustment. 35. 3.1 to 3.6. I wasn't really prepared to answer this, but you're challenging me tonight, Andy. Also, for ease of reference, here's the link to the Summit E-Code page with the links to the applicable ordinance provisions. And again, I will post this, but what I will say is we did have actually a lot of people retire from the zoning and planning boards. To give you another example, Steve Spur moved from zoning to planning, and we had a lot of qualified members, and we thought it was the best decision, so I stand behind our decision.
Through Council President, one quick thing. There's a difference between what is legally allowed and what's best for the city, but I think you answered my question. It's legal. Good.
Yeah,
good.
I mean.
I feel confident with our selections, but thank you for your
Can I add on to that? I think just because it's allowed to do, I think the point is it the right thing to do, right? When tomorrow, the zoning board is gonna meet on a full agenda of things, they're gonna pick their professionals for the year. And I think that, this is a situation where if we have people who are more experienced, especially when it comes to the zoning and planning board, when it's the character of neighborhoods that we're talking about, to me, I think we absolutely would wanna favor the people who already have experience in that area. But, so I'm gonna join with Councilman Miniger in dissenting on that one also. But I have another thing if we're moving on.
No, I would just like to say, is this, that when there was an opportunity for a full membership that came open on the zoning board to both council members, you chose to appoint someone without any experience into that full membership position, overlooking the exact person that we're speaking about tonight. So I'm just going to say that this is a celebration of the city. I recognize the frustration that you feel that perhaps this person should have been promoted from an alternate to a full membership. It was already a precedent set by you that to put someone in that position over her.
I don't think we're talking about a specific person. I think we're talking about the principle, right, of the idea that people with experience should move up.
Well, it directs to a
Versus-
person because we are talking about a person, because it's a person in a position. So my point being is the position for membership existed at one time. You plucked someone from another board, bypassing that person who was alternate, and you put somebody from another board into a full membership over that person. And so the precedent has already been set. The people that we have appointed to the zoning board many have lived in town for 30 years. People who give their time, understanding that we are going to disagree on this. But there are a lot of people that have gotten appointed tonight that do have experience. The person you are referring to did not get moved from the zoning board. She will still be there, and potentially in a year from now, she can move up or be reappointed. So I would just like to say that the precedents had been set by actually leapfrogging her last year when you had the opportunity to go ahead and promote her and her experience.
Council President, if I may. Change is going to be difficult. And you voted for new people into office for change. And I get it. There's some things that's going to be hard, and some things are going to be difficult, and some things people may not like. But we are going to change things. And on the campaign trail, I've said many of the times that I wanted to see new people in committee positions. And I will always be transparent in what I say to you as residents. I wanted new people and new ideas. So I think change is good. And I just wanted to just make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
So, Council President, you'll do a vote on the consent agenda, and then the one item you guys can then take separately.
There's gonna be one more though, too.
Well, the consent agenda has been seconded and moved.
Right, yeah, but I'm just gonna talk about something else, too.
Oh, okay. On the consent agenda.
Not number one, though.
Not
yet,
number one.
Right?
Yeah, well, number one, yeah.
No,
Okay,
no,
let's
number
just
one's
take the vote.
separate.
Oh, okay, we're doing that one
Let's-
separately.
You're doing the vote on consent
Yeah, yeah.
agenda except for number one.
If
That
you
sounds
choose,
good.
You can do that.
Okay.
Yes.
If you
Okay.
want to.
Madam Clerk,
I think
I'd
it's
like to
better.
take. Okay, Madam Clerk, I would like to take a roll call vote.
Mr. Boyer,
It's a roll call vote.
Yay.
Councilman? Yeah.
Ms. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Miniger?
Nay.
Are you saying nay to the whole consent agenda?
Well, there's,
Two through,
sorry, there's a piece of the consent agenda, Susan.
yes, Mr. Jacoby suggested that you can say.
Yay to the consent
Yay,
agenda
but
with,
except
but nay
for
as
number
to
two, or whatever
number
it
two, or
was.
whatever one you want. You don't
Whatever
have to
one
say no
you're
to the whole
not-
consent agenda.
Okay, so I can pick out something that I'm saying.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So you're saying yay and nay to which
What-
item?
The appointments.
Number two, for the, number
3.
4 for the record.
Yeah,
4.
number,
So it's yay to all except for number 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
Mr. Smallwood?
Aye.
Mr. Vartan?
I am aye, with the exception of ID number 10565, which is nay.
Okay. And President Allen?
aye.
Okay, so
Now you have the one remaining item that was on consent agenda, which was removed, which is item 1, ID 10566, establish 2024 council rules. So you need a motion and a second, and then you can have a discussion on that.
Okay. Can I have a motion to discuss Resolution 10566?
Second.
motion.
No, may I have a motion? Did anyone make?
So-
Yeah, you're supposed to motion, not second.
Your motion?
So,
Did the motion.
Mr. Pulaski, if you could make the motion?
I'd like a motion to pass consent agenda ID number 10566.
Correct, we need
And I need a second?
Second.
Now you can have a discussion.
Okay. I'm going to open the floor to Councilman Vartan.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to point out and make public my objection to the council rules as written. Rule number 14 has been altered in a dramatic and potentially damaging fashion. The words, "No member shall be permitted to withhold their vote without permission from the Common Council," have been struck out, and the rule has also been edited to say a call for ayes, nays, and/or abstentions, that part has been added, can be made by any member present. So I object to the creation of an option for council members to abstain for many reasons, but I'll pick 3 to highlight this evening. Number 1 is allowing the option to abstain formalizes, makes acceptable, and excuses unpreparedness. Under previous council rules, by needing to vote either yes or no, council members and city staff are held accountable. There can be no question if a council member votes yes, then they are supportive of the measure. If they vote no, they object to it, or they lack adequate information to support it. Abstention creates ambiguity and questions around the thinking of that council member. Why a council member abstains is a question that potentially may be never answered. Number 2 is this brings to Summit one of the more alarming and frustrating characteristics of the state legislature. Every year, members of the General Assembly and the Senate abstain or are allowed to be absent from hundreds of votes. By being able to abstain, this allows legislators to avoid potentially controversial votes, effectively escaping the ire of party leadership and most certainly favoring politics over policy. This practice should definitely not be allowed in Summit. And third, from my point of view, abstention is really more like abdication of responsibility. We work hard to campaign, listen to voices of our neighbors, and convince them that we're the best person to represent their values and their priorities. If a member of this council can't do the most basic thing by forming a position and taking a vote, then that member of council doesn't deserve to be elected and should let somebody else do the job. So again, for those reasons, I can't support the rules as written, and I will be voting against them. Thank you.
Through Council President.
Absolutely.
So I agree with Council President, I agree with Councilmember Vartan. I would like to ask our city attorney something really quick, if
Sure.
that's okay. How would this affect quorum? So what happens if you have 3 people who vote aye, 2 who vote nay, and then 2 who vote?
So it depends on what the vote's for. The quorum is, as long as you're present, you have a quorum. So there are certain votes, certain bond ordinances, et cetera, that require supermajorities, a majority of the full membership of the council. So I'd have to do it on a case-by-case basis. Abstentions are permitted in Robert's Rules of Order. It's not illegal, and just so everyone knows, an abstention, people get this wrong a lot. They think, oh, an abstention means a no. An abstention means no vote whatsoever. And I can give you an example. I just litigated a case on a school board for the appointment of a board member to fill a seat, and the fight was over, did they need to have a majority of the full membership, which would have been 5 votes. And we argued successfully that, no, you don't need it, you just needed 4 votes. There were 2 abstentions. Abstentions do not count as anything. They do not count as a vote. So they are legally permitted. They are acknowledged in Robert's Rules of Order. But I think that will have to come up on a case-by-case basis. Generally, the big items are any type of bond ordinance. Like, so for example, when you guys do the bond ordinances for the joint meeting, that requires a majority of the full membership of it. So an abstention, a no vote would not be no vote, but we might not have enough to pass a bond ordinance.
Thank you very much. And I move to amend this, by the way, to restore the section that says you cannot abstain.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I'll make my comment.
Wait, so wait a sec, you just made a motion to amend and a second to say you cannot abstain. So what we'll do is you have to vote on that issue first, and then we'll go back to the main motion.
I'd like to call for the ayes and nays on that as well. Not the ayes and nays and abstains.
I would like to give Clerk Lickitese, you have a question?
May I ask my question before
Sure.
we take the vote?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Jacoby, if there's a worst-case scenario where the majority abstains, does the item die, or does it get carried to the next meeting for reconsideration?
You
What
can carry it
happens?
to the next meeting for reconsideration. I've had that situation in other councils where there's just not enough members. It might be, 2 people are absent, there's gonna be an abstention, you're not gonna get enough votes, so there'll be a motion to carry to the next meeting. As you know, if it's a bond ordinance, it's published, et cetera, so then it might die, you might have to reintroduce it. But I'll give you guidance as that comes up. Generally speaking, if you have a quorum present, and the vote requires just the majority voting, so let's hypothetically say you have 7 members, 5 members, make it simple. 3 people are there, 3 people show up, as long as 2 vote yes, it passes. So I'll just give you the guidance as the items come up. Most of your items just require a simple majority vote. So remember, an abstention doesn't count, but it doesn't defeat quorum because the person who could vote is there creating the quorum. They're 2 separate things. There's a quorum and then there's a vote.
Council President, just a quick question. Although I would probably abstain on this whole thing, but would it make a difference if we added some language in there where you had to explain why you would abstain from a certain vote? I just wanted to throw that out there to the council members.
Yeah.
Would it make any difference?
Well, I can say one thing. There are, so when people recuse themselves, they're abstaining. And there are instances when you are legally required to abstain from a vote. So to say you can't abstain is kind of incorrect because you guys have had situations, I can recall 2 different council people, because of their involvement in different organizations, et cetera, they actually recuse themselves. Their recusal, stepping off the dais, is an abstention. They're not voting. That is an abstention. So, if you're abstaining because there's a conflict, that's totally legally appropriate. What you're suggesting is not inappropriate either. For if somebody says I abstain because people, let me just give you another example. You might have a situation where you have new council people here. They might say, you're voting on minutes. I wasn't here. I'm going to abstain on it. I have no idea if they're accurate or not. That would be a common way where people do abstain. But I can tell you, the one thing I can tell you is if you do, I represent a lot of different public entities. If you have somebody who abstains a lot, guess what? The voters sense that.
Right.
Because they elected you guys to do a job, and if you're somebody who's not willing to do your job, the voters get that very quickly.
I would like to give the floor to Councilwoman Hamlet because she's been waiting.
Yes, I just have 2 quick questions. Matt, so would you say we've been doing this all along?
You have been doing abstentions whenever people have recused themselves because of a conflict. That's absolutely true.
So my first question is, yes, we've been doing this all along.
Yes.
Yes. My second question, in your experience in this form of government, what percentage of municipalities are having abstentions?
I would say that almost every municipality and Board of Ed that I represent follow Robert's Rules of Order. And whenever they defer, if there's ever any dispute as to their council rules, you defer to Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order do permit abstentions.
Understand. So maybe we can put some language in about Robert's rules, because we really don't put that in our language right now.
Yeah, I mean,
It happened during the one vote where I tried to table something, and I think we got in this quandary during that.
Yeah, you can pass this and you can amend it again at your next meeting.
Right.
Where you guys could just simply reference whenever there's, an absence of guidance or a disagreement, the Common Council will defer to Robert's Rules of Order for guidance.
And then my third question is, when someone recuses themselves, do they only have to recuse themselves from the dais, or should they recuse themselves from that entire process?
Entire process.
Got it. So if we're in committee and we're talking about something that we would typically recuse ourselves from
Yeah,
as a vote, we should typically, okay.
You have to, there's a lot of court cases that say that being involved in a process and then just recusing yourself on the dais is not an effective recusal, because you've already tainted the process by being involved.
That makes sense. Good. Thank you.
I would like to recognize Councilman Pulowski hasn't had a chance to speak.
Yeah, so Councilman Vartan gave several reasons why he thinks a councilperson should not abstain. And like Mr. Giacobbe just said, a councilperson would abstain at their own risk if they're not prepared or some other reason that you don't think is a good reason. But I think that's for each of us to decide for ourselves, and not for us to vote, that decision on everybody else. Most bodies like this allow for abstentions. Surely there are other reasons why someone might want to abstain. Mr. Giacobbe gave a couple of examples as well. And in terms of whether we want to add in there that you need to give an explanation as to why you're abstaining or not, Law and Labor is going to take a close look at the council rules after this meeting, and possibly make some additional changes. And so we can talk about that again after. But for today, there's two changes in here. One is allowing for abstentions, and the second one is moving public comment to the beginning of meetings.
So just
I'm sorry.
in 2 seconds,
Okay, go ahead.
2 seconds of follow-up.
Go ahead.
So the way that we had it written before, right, no member shall be permitted to withhold their vote without permission from the Common Council, right? That's how we had in the council rules codified the process of recusal, right, which is absolutely completely appropriate if there's a direct or indirect conflict of interest. But I think what we're doing tonight is we're intentionally making a change. I don't know the reason why. I don't like the change. And to the point about, letting council people decide, I mean, the whole concept of what we're doing here is we're deciding on the rules that are going to govern how we go about this year. And that's the reason why I'm objecting to it. So I'll leave it at that.
Through you, Council President. So we have been doing this all along, but in the instances that are in the best interest of the city. So recusing yourself when there's a conflict of interest, or even the appearance of a conflict of interest, or when you weren't here and voting on the minutes, but pretending like you weren't elected to represent the people, and you don't have to make hard decisions or do your job up here. That's not in the best interest of the city. So that's why I'm going to not vote for this.
I just
Sorry,
want to
I
weigh
will
in.
vote in the affirmative to revert back to what it was before. Excuse me.
So in terms of the abstention, so let me just give an example. When we had spoken about the COC, I voted no against the COC. It would have been beneficial, and I spoke to both of you about this, it would have been beneficial to be able to abstain because I felt like we hadn't quite got to a place where we had enough information to vote on the COC. But what happened was you end up having to vote a hard no, and people don't understand that I wasn't against entirely the COC and helping, and working with our nonprofits, but I had to vote no rather than yes, even though I felt like we didn't have enough information. So abstention does provide an opportunity for us to have a little bit of wiggle room But I would say this, is that I recognize your concerns, and we have every intention of having Law and Labor look at this. We're going to go back, make sure that if there's anything that we need to deliberate over, I am happy, and so is Councilman Plowski, to look at this, discuss it. We have to make some other changes, administrative changes to the rules, just to make sure that it's in first person. So over the next month, we'll take a look at it, and we're definitely going to work together as a council to ensure that we're all comfortable with these rules, because that's really what it's about. So, does anybody have any further comments?
I have one. Just a quick administrative, Rosie, on page 3 of the council rules. Letter B should reference 7A, not 6A.
What number? I'm sorry.
Page 2,
What number?
line 7.
Line 7.
So I can get with you after, Rosie, but it should letter B, it should say, an individual council member receiving correspondence shall decide whether it should be treated as correspondence as set forth in 6A above. It should read 7A above.
Okay, so letter B should say 7A.
Correct.
Okay. So
And
That's just a scrivener's error. You
Yeah.
can correct that.
And then the last thing I will say is that I'm certainly advocating for emailed public comments to be a part of the official packet, but I know that we're not all as comfortable right now with getting those in, but that's something that I would really like to advocate for. Mr. Giacobbe has said that our city clerk would not have to read them, which I know she's happy about, but it would be my goal, Councilmember Pulowski, to look into that over the next month, and I know that that's something that's really important to the public. A lot of the times I hear from residents that they simply can't come to a meeting, but they really do want their information heard, and I will hound you over that one, Mr. Pulowski, so hopefully we get it done.
We will look into it.
Okay.
So now you have the first motion to amend the motion, so there should be a roll call on that. Then following that, you go back to the primary motion in second, which is to vote on the council rules for 2024.
Okay. Okay, you guys are keeping me on my toes. All right, you're making me better.
You want me to just say it?
Yeah, so I would say that we need to make a first motion
No,
to
we had a motion and a second to amend.
amend the,
So it's a vote
Yep.
on the amendment to remove
number
abstentions.
10566.
yeah, vote on the amendment.
Vote,
Yep.
it's a vote to amend the
Vote to
council
the
rules as
amend-
written,
Council
to
rules is written.
remove
To remove
the ability to have abstentions.
the ability to have abstentions.
So do a roll call on that, please.
Madam Mayor, may we do a roll call?
Madam Clerk, yes.
Clerk, sorry. Madam Mayor, too. You guys are purposely doing this to me. Greg.
Mr.
Oh, my
Boyer.
God.
Mr. Boyer?
So the vote is to remove the extensions.
Yes.
Is that,
Yes, just their amendment.
So we want to, so
No.
if you don't want to keep the
Change.
change,
To include abstentions.
If you want to keep the abstentions included, you vote no now.
no.
Ms. Hamlet?
Nay.
Mr. Miniger?
Nay.
No, you'd say yes.
no, you're
saying-
yes.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
Why don't you just
You
abstain?
you guys are not doing very well at Robert Rules of Order.
For the record, Mr. Miniger, you
We're gonna have to have a
agreed to amend?
I'm agreeing to amend
Yes.
because I introduced it. Jeez.
Okay. Mr. Pulowski?
Nay.
Mr. Smallwood?
Nay.
Mr. Vartan?
Aye.
Ms. Allen?
Nay.
So that the motion to amend fails. Now we go to the primary motion, which is the motion to vote on the 2024 council rules as presented in the agenda.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please take a roll call.
Mr. Boyer?
Yay.
Ms. Hamlet?
Aye.
Mr. Miniger?
Nay.
Mr. Pulowski?
Aye.
Mr. Smallwood?
Aye.
Mr. Vartan?
Nay.
Ms. Allen?
Aye.
Council President, before we move on, just to clarify, Councilman Pulowski, you're going to do a comprehensive review on the council rules, right? And then we're going to take another look at it as the year goes on, right? I mean, this is the first meeting of the year. You know, we just took office. I think there's some things that we want to look at, and I just want to clarify that you are going to do a comprehensive review on the rules moving forward, though.
Yes, that's correct. The
Okay.
Law and Labor Committee will.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know if anybody caught it, but we moved public comment to the beginning of the meeting. So since we just voted on the rules, it's, public comment is at the end for this meeting, but the next meeting it'll start with public comment. So I would like to open it up to the floor for public comment at this time.
I can't help but sit here as a former councilman, and it's like a trigger.
Sir, can you say your name and address? for the
Al
record?
Dill, 16 Montrose. This is a quiz. Council, you're not involved.
Okay.
You're up there. You're the liquor authority for the city of Summit. You must vote on the renewal of a license. But every council member is a member of that organization. Do you abstain? How do you handle it? So at the next meeting, you should all come up with your answers. You're not involved. Nobody can talk to him. But it's a pleasure to see the new members. It's going to be a great year. I can tell already. Just changing the comments to the beginning will give a lot more vitality to the residents and an opportunity to come in and speak. So good luck, and I'll watch you on TV.
Thank you. Any other comments? Well, I would like to actually open it up really quickly to the council members because we didn't get a chance to say anything early on. But I just want to say this is how government works. So I actually like that this happened tonight. So anybody from council would like to say anything tonight before we adjourn?
If you don't mind, Council President.
Absolutely.
So my mother is here from Alabama, and I know this is kind of an unreal thing. Moving here from Newark in 4th, 5th grade, I'm sure that you didn't have the foresight to see your son sitting up here on council. But I'm sure that by middle school, it was probably a possibility. So thank you, Mom. You provided me with so much guidance, and all of the fire that I have in here is definitely from you, and I appreciate you and I love you. Now, the last thing that I would say to the residents of Summit, this is a town that has raised me. This is a town that I feel comfortable in. I feel comfortable with the environment, with the people. On this campaign, I've been welcomed into homes by all different types of people, all different religions, all different nationalities, all different ethnicities. It reminded me of a town that is just so special, where as a child, I went on trips. I was shown the world. And I was thinking to myself, if we did that as parents, the same thing that parents did with me when I was in middle school and high school, kind of took me in and showed me different things, came to my house and ate my food, right? Our folks' food. And I went to their house and ate their food. And as you get older, you sort of don't need any, diversity training, right? It's a natural thing, and diversity should be natural. But it depends on us taking each other in and embracing each other as a town. Now, I will say that Summit is definitely bipartisan, because Susan Harrison is the first woman of color Democrat, and Jamel Boyer is the first man of color Republican. It doesn't get any bipartisan than that, right? But to end this conversation, I think the people of Summit should be very proud of themselves. I think you have shown great courage. I think you have shown the flexibility of understanding different ways of thought, embracing different things, and I appreciate you. And I think the ideology that we hear on the news all the time is that, hey, one party is this and the other party is that. That actually didn't play out in this town. And I truly appreciate that. And I thank you all. And I will do my best up here to represent every resident of Summit, to be transparent and not to always vote down partisan lines, but to vote what I feel is right. Because righteousness is justice, and you can't have justice without righteousness. So I thank you. Thank you, residents.
I got nothing. I said a lot tonight.
I'm not following that.
So maybe we could, maybe I can make a motion that Jamel goes last. Because I do want to say something. It won't be as good as that, but we did an interview before all the ceremonies and everything today, and one of the questions that Amy Cairns asked us was, why is serving on Common Council or mayor important to you? And my answer was, this is my hometown and I love it. And I owe a debt to Summit that I'll never repay, but serving on this council is a way for me to try to help give a little back. So I'm humbled to take this seat. I'm honored to represent my town on this council, and I'm hopeful that we can take some measures this year that will make the everyday lives of all of you just a little bit better. So thank you.
Just one thing.
Yep.
I just want to say
Councilwoman.
thank you to all the city staff for making today such a special day. Rosie, Nicole, Amy, Carnes, your entire department, Michael, your department, thank you for all the staff being here so late. There's so many days that they're here so very late, so thank you. And thank you to our outgoing council members. Phyllis, I really enjoyed working with you in law and labor. We were like a tiger team in there. That was awesome. I mean, who would have thought? The one good thing that came out of this is Phyllis Sank and I, she held everybody accountable, and it was really fun to watch. And it was just a true testimony that Democrats and Republicans can get along. And you wowed me with your experience in there. And Marjorie, I was calling Marjorie even up until the last hour. So thank you to Jamie and Susan. These guys work tirelessly. So thank you. And Michael, thanks for sticking with this new crew here. We're honored that you're here. We might be moving your seat a little more in the center of the activity, but we're really excited to have you on board, and we're really looking forward to starting 2024. And I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And I certainly hope, as Jamel said, at least the Together for Summit team, we won't be voting together all the time, that's for sure. And if we do, then that would be a huge surprise. But I think a lot of us will have some really good discussions up here, and it should be exciting to watch.
Thank you. Okay. Councilman Miniger, any final words?
No, again, I'm sorry I voted against my own introductory. Anyway, I'll do better next time.
Madam Mayor?
I just want to say thank you all for being here. I'm really looking forward to serving this wonderful community. And I am remiss because I did not thank my family. So they've left now. I think I upset them so much.
That's why I was crying.
So thank you to my family and my friends, and my brother who came all the way from Villanova tonight with his wife.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Anybody? We got to get this.
Second.
Second. Anybody? Second?
Jamel second.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Okay, okay. All right, adjourned.
We got to vote.
Oh, we got to vote. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'll get that right.
You'll get it.